Welcome to He Did This to Me, the sports podcast from my father and son who happen to be mostly optimistic Knicks, Jets, and Mets fans. My name is Nick, a.k.a. Goody, and with me is my old man, a.k.a. the big guy, Noel. And just like his name, all we do is win. Let's get to the show. It's time to begin. All right, big guy. Mets found a way to get it done today, win the series against the Padres. They're 2 games ahead in the loss column, ahead of the 3 teams that are behind them. They got the Nationals, and then they get the Cubs, and then they end the season down in Miami with the Marlins, which should make all Met fans a little bit nervous. Talk to me, big guy. How are you feeling about our Mets?
I feel confident, but I mean, as we know, man, baseball is so crazy, man. I mean, listen, let's face it. In this last week, anybody has a 3 or 4 game losing streak, and it's a death knell. Okay, so it can happen. Nick, I was looking at the other day. I was looking at just recently, today and yesterday. It's incredible what's happening, like with the Detroit Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
They were best team all season, best record. All of a sudden, they can't score runs. They've lost like 8 in a row or 10. It's crazy. So I think we can do it. I think we will do it because we have the young arms going. I like and some of the things that Mendy has done, but I'm sure we'll get into that just in helping with the pitching rotation.
So when you say things that Mendy has done, I guess you got to be talking about our guy Manaea and Clay Holmes splitting the
Yeah,
game.
piggyback.
Yeah, hey, it worked out. So it seems like a great idea, right? And
Right.
got to give Mendy the credit for this. Since he took Manaea down to the hallway for a talking to, it seems like he's turned it on since then. And like you said, this baseball season over the course of it, look how good Manaea just looked in this last game, and how good he looked even in just the rest of that game since Mendoza gave him the talking to. And I mean, the
Yep.
guy was just serving up meatballs and having a real tough time of it just before that. So there's always going to be the huge ebbs and flows. I was on with my guy CP a couple of nights ago after the Mets won game 1 of this series, and I said, hey man, like we always say, ebbs and flows. Like I always say, because I'm one of those people that's always trying to preach that to him. Like, dude, it goes up and down throughout the season.
Right.
We were the best team in baseball early on, but that doesn't make you feel good when you're in the middle of one of the 3 different 7-game losing streaks that we've had so far in this season. But all you
Brutal.
can hope for is that we're flowing right now, and we don't have an ebb between now and the end of October, and we can somehow figure this out. But it's gonna be, down to what these pitchers do. And baseball
Right.
is a game of moments. It's a game of
Exactly.
moments where there's huge moments throughout the game. I thought in that game 1, when Jeff McNeil got that double in the first inning, when we had the bases loaded, and now we had a chance to only get 1 run in. And then Jeff McNeil gets the double, and we score a couple more runs. And then what do you know? Brett Beatty comes up and hits a 2-run home run, breaks the game open. We're up 5-0. But I'm telling you, if McNeil doesn't get that double, and now all of a sudden everybody's like, we only got one run right there.
Yeah.
The crowd feels like that. They flash to Mendy, and he's got the screw face on. Everything is different. So it's going to be about those moments moving forward when it comes to both our hitters and our pitchers, and whether or not we're able to win those moments.
Listen, baseball is so mentally taxing just because it's such a long season. If this was a 50-game season, we'd be over and done with. And it's just, I mean, dude, man, you cannot let off the gas at any point. You have to stay consistent, and you can't get too full of yourself. I mean, listen, man, Pete now has hit a home runs, in 4 games straight. He's doing the damn thing. And, went like 40 at-bats in a row without a home run at one point.
Longest streak in his career.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? And now he's hitting balls that are absolute moonshots. He's going 450 feet damn near. I mean, he's where we need him to be. Nick, I feel like if we hold on, and I think we will, and make the postseason, anything's possible. We just got to get past that wild card round. That's the scary part. 3 games, somebody else's home field. But, if we can somehow eke that out, now I'm feeling a lot better. Now we're cooking with gas.
Baseball is the ultimate sport where if you're able to get in, you really do have a chance. I mean, more than any other sport. People talk about that a lot when it comes to, like, I don't know, college basketball. But 16 seeds don't really win too many championships. In
No,
baseball, the third wild card can definitely go out there and win a World
100%.
Series. It's all about who gets hot at the right time, specifically the
100%.
pitching. And, you know, hey, can Helsley all of a sudden be the guy that we expect him to be? I know even saying that name makes
That
you
name
feel some type of way.
kills me, Nick. It kills me. And yeah, that guy drives me up the wall. But listen, if our young arms can do what they've been doing in the postseason, especially in the short series, anything's possible, man. I mean, in a short series where everybody, all hands on deck, and you can bring in a Mania if you need to. You can bring in a Clay Holmes if you need to get 2-4 innings out of somebody. Obviously, it's just I think we got a shot. I think we got some players who can come through. I think we got a great manager. I think we got a shot. Just got to get in.
Speaking of young arms, Jonah Tong today came out after a rough couple outings, and he had 5 innings. He had 8 Ks. He only gave up 1 run, and that was unearned. He looked good today. He
Yeah,
was
I was nervous.
challenging. He was challenging guys in the zone. He was throwing his fastball, and he looked pretty good today. Obviously, McLean has looked like we might have an ace on our hands.
Wow.
And Sproat has looked good as well. So, like you said, the young arms are coming up. They're doing their thing. And then I think that Mania and Holmes, to me, it's almost a foregone conclusion that these guys are going to be coming out of the bullpen and, in the postseason, just because you're only going to really use like 4 starters. And
Of course, they're coming out of the bullpen.
yeah.
Or unless they do that piggyback thing on one game. I don't know if that.
And
comes
that would
out,
only
but
be
doubtful.
like if it was late in like a 7-game series where somehow someone
Right.
But yeah, that I don't even really see
Right.
that happen.
Not when you could start McLean, Tong, and Sproat. I mean,
Wait. So Tong is after today's performance, he's right back in the top of your rotation. For
Well,
the playoff
Nick,
series.
you're going to give him one more start in the regular season at least, right? And
Right.
you're going to see what he's got.
Yeah.
But right now, McLean and Sproat, I would think, are in your rotation in the postseason. I mean, you're only going to need 3 or 4 arms max, to start, and everybody else all hands on deck for whatever comes up.
So if it's 4 right now, I'm thinking McLean, Sproat, and then Peterson. Even though he has struggled recently, I still think that Peterson ends up being in there because over the course of the year, short leash for sure. And then that last spot to me is between Tong, and I still think there's a chance that Senga gets that spot. If he comes back, gets one more start at the big leagues. Dad, remember he started a game in the postseason last year when he hadn't started a game in a few months. When he was on the injured list for a few months, and all of a sudden he was starting against the Phillies.
I know, man, but he's been so shaky this year.
He's pitched well since he's went down to AAA. Maybe he's like Alvarez.
I hadn't known. Okay. I hope so. Like if Senga, dude, if Senga is Senga, and we've got a 3-game series, and we can throw McLean and Senga at these guys,
right?
That's major, Nick. And with Sproat following it up, I mean, come on, man, that's a very nice 1-2-3 punch.
Yeah. And hey, the Mania and Holmes, that pairing, I don't know who came up with that, but I almost hope it was our guy Stearns, because listen, I like Stearns. I'm not saying fire Stearns. I'm not saying anything like that. I want to continue to keep Stearns. I think he's the boy wonder. I think he does a great job. He's had a bad year. Going back to the offseason, and definitely when it comes to his moves that he made at the trade deadline, it's not even about like whether or not they were good and you're playing the results. It's a results business, and they haven't worked out. Adding Frankie Montas, and when a lot of people were like, why are we signing this guy to this 2-year deal when all he does is get hurt? But adding Montas and not adding more starting pitching, and then almost every single deal he made or didn't make at the deadline has not worked out.
Yeah, I don't think he's that bad. I don't think
he's bad. I think he's had a bad season going
right.
Right.
I think some years everything goes right. Iglesias, all these guys last year, everything went right. It seems like, right? But at the end of the day, Nick, if we go far, make it to the NLCS or something like that, a lot of that's going to be forgiven. because if we do that, a lot of things are going to work out. So I think he's done. I think it's tough, Nick. I mean, it's just so tough, especially in baseball, because it's a really, really tough sport. But you're right. Last year was better than this year.
When he hits on everything, I give him credit for that, But at the same time, listen, going out and getting Cedric Mullins, and instead of getting your boy, the guy who's on Philly now, who's killing us, Harrison Bader.
Oh my God!
Getting Mullins instead of Bader when both of them were available. That hasn't worked out so well, obviously. That guy Mullins, I mean, he's such a disaster. When he hit a home run in game one of this series, I said to my man CP afterwards, I was like, it's a party when Mullins is hitting home runs. Because that dude is an automatic out, it seems like, most of the time. And then also, the Helsley thing hasn't worked out so well. But, hey,
But I mean, see, and that's what kills me. When he got Helsley, I mean, that was nobody thought that was a bad move. We all were like, great. I know. We're talking results. Okay. But I thought that was a great move. This guy Helsley, for whatever reason, he's like a fucking turtle with a shell. I mean, he's all verklempt with everything that's going on in New York.
He's like a turtle with a shell. Well, I don't know if I've ever heard that one before, but I don't know if I'll ever hear it again.
On the fly. On the fly. You heard it first, folks. But listen, though. Can this guy, I mean, seriously, man, I don't know, Nick. I don't know if he can help us anymore. I don't know. If he fucks up in like these last stretch of games, dude, first of all, he's a free agent after the season.
He pitched really well last night. He
did do well last night.
He's got two, maybe three.
Man, if he can figure it out, that would be huge, man.
Changes everything.
Huge.
Because Rogers is pitching pretty well. We know that we got Sugar on the back end. If you just throw him in as consistent and you just know 7, 8, 9, you feel good about it? That changes everything.
Everything.
Because this guy Soto, the pitching Soto, you never know with him.
No, it's a roller coaster ride with that guy. He
uses to throw his fastball sometimes. Sometimes he goes up and he walks a guy on 4 straight sliders. And I'm just like, I don't understand, dude. You throw 98, 99 miles an hour. Throw your fastball.
So let me bring up, when you say Soto, our man Juan Soto. I'm still, Nick, sometimes amazed at how many people are so incredibly critical of this guy. I mean,
who's critical of him today?
Seriously. No. I had a friend of mine, he's tripping on the floor, who's been anti-Soto all year, and he said to me today, he messaged me today, he said, Noel, what do you think about him now? He's had a terrible season. If he would just hustle, can you imagine how much better he would be? And blah, 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 blah. And this is the guy who roots for the Mets, but now has switched over to the Yankees, former New Yorker. Are you listening to me? Are you on the phone? Or are we here? Are we simpatico? So anyway, he says to me that, he's very anti-Soto and so forth. But my response is, was he this anti-Soto before when he was with the Yankees? Because this guy is one of those guys who follows all New York sports. But first of all, I called him a fake Met fan, number one. Number two, I feel like he's more upset with Soto or doesn't like Soto because of the amount of money he gets paid. And I don't understand why that bothers anyone.
It's ridiculous.
If we live in America in a capitalist society, should he have said to these guys, listen, whoa, let's stop it at $500 million. Anything above that's too much. Are you serious right now? He gets whatever the hell somebody wants to pay him. He didn't pull a gun on somebody. So I just feel like he gets a lot of hate for the money he makes. And then, some people say, well, he's not worth it. Well, is anybody worth $750 million? And that's over 15 years, first of all. And what it all comes down to, Nick, is that they get paid a portion of the revenue. Mm-hmm. So let's stop. Let's stop already. Like he's robbing the poor. He's not. And I just don't understand that. It's perplexing to me how upset. I mean, this guy's had 41 home runs now, 100 RBI, I think, as of today. Has hit over 400 with runners in scoring position in the last, 60 games, since being so bad at that early on in the season, which this is baseball. This is how things average out, that he's like a 300-something hitter with runners in scoring position. You know what I mean? It's all averages. It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous,
I'll
and
get off my soapbox now.
it's absolutely ridiculous, and it is absolutely Yankee fans who are bitter because he left and he picked the Mets. That's what it comes down to. Those are the only people that are out here, and specifically, I have seen so many people on X. I just had to come at my guy NYK Mentality, who he's a big Knicks fan, and that's how he and I connected on X. And he was talking about, he put up some post about how the Mets record and how the Mets record is worse and this and that and blah 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 blah. Yet they paid this much for this guy, that he's not worth it, and all these things. The not worth it thing. I mean, you just don't understand
Get over
the
yourself.
structure of how this works. There's no salary cap, so it's not preventing us from doing anything. We have the richest owner in sports who happens to also be a fan of the team, and he is statistically the best hitter at this stage of his career, arguably in the history of baseball. And the only ones that you can argue are guys like names like Ty Cobb and
Ridiculous.
I mean, come on, man. Like
Every other week, he's joining some elite list of somebody for something. Where only like 2 other people in the history of baseball have done this. But yet
it's always
we
like
want
Ted
to
Williams
slam
and Ty
this guy.
Cobb. Ted
Right,
Williams and Ty
and
Cobb
it's like,
some shit.
what are we talking about? This is ridiculous. You just have to watch him play, Nick. I mean, seriously.
First
You
of all,
just
the
watch
not
him
hustle
play.
thing is bullshit. He does
It
hustle.
is bullshit, Nick. He's like Beltran. He's one of those guys who hustles, but it just doesn't look like it sometimes.
Yeah.
Now listen. Okay, do you compare him like to a Robbie Cano with that aspect? Remember Cano?
Yeah, the thing about Cano
I think Cano was a little bit not hustle.
well, the difference is that he sucks. So when he was on the Mets and he was playing horribly, that lackadaisical shit, where it don't look so good. It don't look like
Right.
he's just he's got a higher cruise control than most people, so he's able to just like that bullshit don't work when you're not good. All right, and my man Soto, the thing that I love about him is that when it comes to running the bases, when it comes to playing in the outfield, stealing bases, all of these things, he does everything fundamentally correct. Even the way he slides into a base is fundamentally exactly how you would teach a kid. I've tried teaching 9-year-olds how to slide. It's a very difficult thing to do. And you look at this guy, and at the end of the day, he's got a 922 OPS.
922 OPS, Nick.
What are we talking about here?
41 home
You
runs.
give me 41 dingers, 100 RBIs, 115 run scores. Oh, and by the way, 33 stolen bases on what many people are calling a down year. I'll take it. All right.
This is what I'm saying, Nick. A down year. I mean, this guy, and people. This is what kills me. Sometimes people want to just get on him for saying that he hits too many solo home runs. Like that is under his control. That's ridiculous.
Okay. It's not necessarily
I'd
under
like
his
him
control.
to do more. He just wasn't doing as much with runners in scoring position at that time of year, and he turned that around.
By people, you mean your wife and my mother?
Yes, she definitely says that. And by the way, her least favorite player is Mullins. She hates this guy.
Yeah, no Mets fan likes Mullins.
Right. No. But her hate for him
It's
other world.
it's deep.
But no, the thing I think that he does. I mean, look, he's hit some solo home runs, but I don't think that's not his fault. Could he do more with runners in scoring position the first half of the year?
That's the argument. Yeah,
Right. But it's not solely, too many of his home runs are solo home runs. That's ridiculous. He hit 41 home runs. Get on base, will you?
Right. But that criticism, I think, has mostly to do with just the fact that they want him to step up and be clutch when there is men on base. But I think at the end of the day, you look at his numbers overall, he's been fantastic. Like you said, he's hit better with runners in scoring position. And it's really just about this Mets team getting hot at the right time. I mean, you're going to need different guys to be hot and pass the baton. And if we could, just somehow figure out how to get the hitters and the pitchers hot at the same time, we can win a World Series. And, if they have a bad few days in a row, whether it be during this regular season or once we get to the playoffs, we could be talking about next season. And that's just what baseball is.
That's right. And that's where it's at. But we'll be all right.
All right. So the New York Jets, you were in the house for game 1, and the Jets were able to, even in a loss, give the Jets fans some hope. and the Jets fans feeling like, hey, maybe it's a new day. We've turned a new leaf. We look like a professional football team. We look like we are totally prepared for the game. Our offense looks pretty good. Justin Fields looks like he could be the quarterback of the future. And then in week 2, they are at home against the Buffalo Bills, class of the AFC East, and they come out, and from the very beginning through the very end, all of those things that we said after week 1 can be thrown out of a window because we saw the exact opposite in week 2. I'm telling you, Dad, I thought at one point that, Aaron Glenn was going to do like a Scooby Doo, or should I even say a Mission Impossible type mask, where he just pulled off his head, and it was going to be Robert Saleh there because it looked like the team of the last few years. Come on, man, talk to me, big guy. What is going on after this week 2 debacle with ours and Aaron Glenn's Jets?
Bad game too, obviously. Listen, I think it was a very poor game, but I also think, Nick, that I think you're trying to change this team, and I do believe, I still believe, obviously, in Aaron Glenn. I don't think anybody doesn't. But I also think that it's not going to be, like I always say, it's not going to be straight uphill. There's going to be some dips and valleys. That happened last week against Buffalo, a very, very good opponent who's looking like the class of the AFC, possibly. Well, maybe not with San Diego. Or no, LA, right? The LA Chargers. But I think you're going to see that Buffalo do that to quite a few people. I was disappointed a lot in the offensive line play. Offensive line just did not play well at all, especially after a very impressive first game. I was obviously disappointed in Justin Fields. He did not play well, but when you look at how few times he threw the ball, because we didn't have the ball many times, it was just it was a shit show all the way around, and he was getting hit and then finally got hit, obviously, one time too many. I mean, they got some good licks on him in that game, besides just a hit that got him hurt. And, he's got to play better. The whole team has to play better. Now, what's going to be interesting is Tyrod Taylor playing this weekend against another very good opponent in Tampa Bay. If Tyrod Taylor somehow plays a good game and, we win the game, the back pages are going to be like, making it a controversy almost, which I think is foolish this soon. Let him shit the bed for another couple games or something. I mean, geez, he had one bad game, but I think, I think we got to do better, and I think we're going to have good games this season. But at the end of the day, Nick, I predicted, and I'm sure you predicted too, that we would lose probably at least 10 games this season. That's, even if we're being kind, we think the over, but we thought the Jets could win 7, maybe 8, so lose 9 games, right? If that's the case, we're going to lose a decent amount of games, and I don't think they're necessarily all going to be pretty losses, like the loss to the Steelers, or good losses. If I could coin such a phrase, which is not really accurate. So I think we have to be better, and I think we have to wait and see what we do. I know your main guy that you want to kill is Michael Clemens, and I get it. I'm very upset with him too, but I think also you have to think, Nick, I know you texted me immediately that he needs to be off the team right now.
I would have cut him right then on the field. I would have cut him on the field.
I know. But you know what, Nick? The issue is, fans can say that. The coach has – who's behind him, Nick?
It doesn't matter.
What's his name's hurt out with a gimpy ankle? Who's behind him?
It doesn't matter. We just cut our starting kick returner in the week
right,
before.
But that you got people behind him who can do the job or do the job almost as good.
No, we brought new
I know,
guys.
but we thought we could bring in somebody who could do that.
But Clemens, I've been saying this for how many seasons? Clemens is great at doing the walk-in for the training camp. He's got the bat with the barbed wire. He's got the vest with no shirt underneath. He's great at those things. He's fan.
Like Aaron said, he does things that you don't see. You got to see it on the inside with the film work.
You know what I have seen? I've seen him be an absolute jackass multiple times and commit penalties that are just simple, you cannot do that penalties. And the thing is that, hey, in week 1, when Quincy does that, I say, but Quincy, there's so many great things that he does. And, that time he made a mental error. There's a lot of things going on out there. You're all fired up. You want to hit somebody. I get it. Clemens has done this shit so many times at this point that it's just like, dude, he should be thinking to himself before the snap, okay, play hard, but don't do anything that is going to get a penalty. Whether it be trying to like jaw with some guy and then pushing him or hitting a quarterback late. This is what Clemens does. I would have cut him on the spot. I cannot stand this guy. I think he is just, I think he's a cancer on the field. And it's continuing to spread and grow because he just continues to multiply himself by being out there on the field and making these stupid, boneheaded, idiotic fucking penalties. I can't deal with this guy anymore, man. Get him out of here. He's not even good. That's the thing. It'd be different if he was good. He sucks. He sucks. He absolutely sucks. He's the most overhyped guy ever because of his persona, but he doesn't show any of it on the field. And if he ever does make a decent play, he follows it up with a penalty that immediately hurts the team. That was 3rd and 19. We're about to get them off the field in their first drive. That's one of those moments in the course of a game.
Early in the game too.
It changes everything, man. And this guy has done this shit too many times, and he clearly cannot control himself. It
was less than 2 steps right there, Nick. It was less than 2 steps, but it came in too hard.
Stop. That is bullshit. Everybody who saw that knows that is going to get called as a penalty 100% of the time in today's NFL, especially if the quarterback is Josh Allen. Come on. What are you doing? No.
So what you're telling me is I need to return the Michael Clemens jersey I bought.
You don't have a Clemens jersey. You would never be that silly. It would have to be a custom jersey because they don't make them. And he sucks, man. He sucks. And listen, I'm sorry when it comes to Fields, he didn't have a lot of passing attempts. That's because he killed a lot of drives with absolute bullshit, horrible passes. He had Garrett Wilson wide open on a 3rd down. That would have been maybe a touchdown. He had a guy running up the sidelines who he couldn't hit. I think it was Ty Smith maybe running up the sidelines wide open, couldn't hit him. He would have been able to run forever. No, Ty Smith is on the Bulls now. I mean, the Bills. What's our
Ty something.
Whatever. You know
Ty
what I'm
Jerome, but he's a basketball player.
Yeah, no, it's not Ty Jerome.
Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson. There you go. So he had Tyler Johnson, didn't hit him. He would have ran forever. And at the end of the day, man, he had another one to Mason what's his name? Mason Taylor that he threw a little bit high over the top. And we saw what everybody has told us about Justin Fields is that he's widely inaccurate, and that he also doesn't protect the football. He leads the league in fumbles since he's been in the league, and that fumble killed us as well. So, I just think it's going to be Aaron Glenn, man, look, as much as you want to give him credit in the first week and you say things have definitely changed, well, we don't know that yet, okay? So we don't know if things have definitely changed.
We need to see more.
But I think that we, Jets fans ourselves and even some people in the media have been talking about how, there's a different feel in the building and Okay,
I still think that.
I don't know.
But
you're right. Because
you really don't know anything. I think that, but I don't know anything. We'll only know after we see, a full season or 3 weeks 6 weeks or something like that. But listen, man, the jury's still out. Obviously, the jury's still out. I'm hopeful. I believe in the guy, but clearly the jury's still out. I don't have all the answers yet. Nobody does.
Yeah, nobody does. But I'm just telling you what I think at the moment. And what I think at the moment was that week 2, it's not just that we lost. Yes, Buffalo's very good. It's the fact that we didn't seem prepared. We seemed like the team that didn't realize they were playing in a football game. From the very beginning of that game, when it comes to how we protected the ball, and how we were mentally prepared, we didn't seem anywhere close to as prepared as that Buffalo team. It wasn't just that they decided that it wasn't just that they are a much more talented and experienced team than we are. We also just mentally made a ton of mistakes, and it seemed like we were a step slow to react. I think both coaching staff and players. I think the fact that not spying Josh Allen on a 3rd and long when we know that's how he quite often picks those up early in the game. I think that hurt us. And I thought that Engstrand in general seemed like he was a step behind the fact that they were selling out for the run. And maybe, I know we want to establish the run. I know that's what we want to do. But when we're not just pushing them around and Brees isn't just picking up 8, 9, 15-yard chunks, we might need to go ahead and pass the ball a little bit so that we can run. And they were selling out and destroying our drives early. And I thought that we were a little bit slow to adjust to that. And, Engstrand, I gave him all the credit after the first game. It seemed like, hey, we really, really figured some things out here. And we looked like we were getting teams off balance and scheming guys open. And all of that went out of the window in game 2. We have like you said, a tough, a tough test here in game 3 against the Buccaneers, who are pretty good, but, they're not as good as the Bills. So if we go out and get embarrassed again, then I'm going to start getting very concerned, not just about what kind of season we're going to have or how good this team could be, but on, whether or not we have the right guy, in the coaching seat.
Jury's still out. I've seen it, with good coaches where they start off hot and everything goes great and it's fantastic. It's like a Andy Reid sort of situation, and KC, or even when he was in Philly, everything went well. But like I've said many times, there have been great coaches who had shitty first years until they really were able to change it and make it their own. I hope that's not the case here, obviously. As far as Justin Fields, he had a very shitty game. He was very inconsistent, obviously. But I think a lot of, too, like you say, Tanner Engstrand, he didn't have a great game. Our whole offense, there are little things, Nick, like when obviously the defense is lining up with a run blitz, Justin Fields should have seen that and checked to something or gotten somebody over there to block the guy. Instead, he still ran the same play with an obvious run blitz coming right here. It was up to that guy to just run straight and tackle our running back, without being, with nobody blocking him. But that's Justin Fields. Justin Fields has to make that adjustment on the field. And then they need to talk about it.
The coach got to coach him up.
Right. Talk to him on the sideline and get him to do that better.
Hopefully but you would hope that they've coached him up on that, already.
Right. You hope so. And Nick, and that's just it. See, that's where we have to find out. Well, we'll never know. Do you coach him up? And then, like when he gets back to the sideline, we're like, dude, we spoke about this. Dude, I mean, come on, man. So I don't know. I don't know where the fault lies, or is it somewhere in the middle? I think it's more than likely somewhere in the middle, right? So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, this next game's definitely going to be interesting. I'm hoping that we have a better showing. I'm hoping the guys seem more prepared and that they make less stupid mistakes. And it's going to, the whole Tyrod Taylor thing, hey, man, if this guy comes out.
Tyrod, he's pretty good, I mean, he's got
I think
a decent record.
I think in his 8 drives that he's had as the Jets quarterback, he's led the team to a touchdown on like 7 of them. Now, a lot of those could come in garbage time against, not the one team of the opponent, but who knows? We'll see. And like you say, I just I think there's certain things that we did last game coaching wise, like that reverse. That reverse was idiotic.
Terrible. It's terrible.
It's a terrible call.
I hate stuff
at that
like
time.
That.
I know you hate reverses and shit like that. Just in
general. I just
the
wrong time, and you got to be up. You got to, what are you doing right now? You're giving the ball like right 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. What are we doing?
And especially when we've seen that they were taking their corners and their linebackers and
coming right up to the line.
Them. Yeah, right. That's not the time for that,
not
man. You got to get these guys off you by throwing the ball over their head a couple times, and then that's when you run that shit. You know what I'm saying? I just thought that was one of those things where, like, I whenever I've heard like the thought process of, we call our first 15 plays before the game even starts. I don't get that. That's stupid to me.
I don't have a problem with that, but you have to be able to say we're not, you have to be able to preempt if necessary, and they were playing a defense in such a way. You're right, Nick, that calling the first 15 plays, and we called, evidently he called those first 15 plays, and we're going to run this regardless of what they're doing out there. And I get that to a point, where if we decide we're going to run the ball, we got to be able to run the ball, but you have to block it up. Okay. You have to block it up. And we didn't block it up. I mean, there were too many free runners to the man with the ball.
And football is a numbers game. If the other team is putting not just 8, but sometimes 9 in the box, you got to throw the ball over their head. You can't just say, hey, we're going to run it right at them. It don't usually work like that. If you got the greatest offensive line in the world and you have, a really good running back, can you out execute them? Yes, but you have to have the threat of both different parts of the offense. And that's when you can really get some things going. I think when you get predictable in the NFL, guys and defensive coordinators are just too good.
Well, you have to figure that out too. I mean, you have to figure out, can you just smash through? I mean, listen, the Steelers were loading the box against us, Nick, and we were able to run against them. I think the fact of the matter is that we're going to see they weren't blitzing.
Exactly. They were bringing a ninth guy, and
blitzing.
quite often it was a corner or like an outside linebacker.
Right.
Which clearly they saw something in what we did in that game one and said, hey, this is the way to stop them. And clearly it worked, and we weren't quick enough to make that second adjustment.
Right. I don't know if maybe we didn't look at the game plan and say, if we were them, what would we do to us? I would have to imagine, though, that every coach thinks about that or has to think about that.
I just think that some people don't.
Right?
I think that as much as you think about that ahead of time, I think that you have the best coaches in this league. It's about in-game what they do. And I get frustrated in that game. It seemed like Tony Romo figured it out before Engstrom did. Because Tony Romo was talking about the fact that, like, look, they're doing this, and the Jets, they have to throw. And it seemed like it took us a little bit of time. And even when the game was still getting away from us, we did seem to kind of make adjustments to that. I just, it frustrated me when I was like, well, I didn't know what they were doing, really. I just knew that they were stopping our running game and we couldn't get anything off. I could tell that they were blitzing. I didn't know that it was coming from the outside, whatever the case may be. But Romo, when he starts pointing it out, and I'm like, does our team know this? Is somebody on our team watching the broadcast so they can make a call and be like, yo, hey, according to Tony, this is what's going on?
Yeah, no, you hope so. And listen, man, I mean, it's a bad game. I mean, we got to shake it off. We're going against, like we said, Tampa Bay this weekend. You know how I feel about Baker. I've felt about him since he was in college. He's a good player, man.
You've always been a big Baker guy.
Always been a big Baker fan. I've always liked his moxie and his just the way he carries himself on a football field. I don't care about anything else. I just think on a football field, he's a guy that people are going to rally behind, and he plays hard, and he makes some amazing throws. Now he's going to put the ball at risk a couple times. We have to capitalize on those moments and catch those balls that are available. Brandon Stevens.
Yeah, he also makes me nervous with the ability to scramble. I mean, he had that huge Monday night, and Sauce didn't have a great game. He didn't have a great game. Our whole secondary didn't look great. So yeah, lots of room for improvement for sure. And it'll be interesting to see. This is our first game on the road too, and their receivers are good, man. They got
Mike Evans.
I mean, yeah, we know Mike Evans, but then even after that, they got the rookie with the weird name. That's the thing with them. It's
from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Is that again? Listen to me, Nick. A couple of their running backs I was watching the other night were very impressive, man.
Oh, well, they have
very hard to bring down. They had a couple running backs who was like, wow, so it's going to be an issue.
Well, I mean, Bucky Irving is a very good running back. Like he is
good, but they haven't back
in the NFL.
He's very good.
And then they also have that guy Rashad White, who's very good.
Yes, that's the guy. He was very hard to bring down.
Emeka Egbuka is the receiver's name. He's got some speed on him. That Sauce will probably be over there on Mike Evans. So I don't know who sticks with this guy. I mean,
I don't know, man.
Michael Carter the third is supposed to be sticking with this guy.
People love that guy. I don't know. I'm not as big a fan of Michael Carter. I mean, he's good, but
not this past season, but the season before that. Statistically, he was the best slot cornerback in the entire NFL.
I know.
This year, he's been
like a
shaky,
pitcher, a little up and down.
Best. Yeah. He's been shaky at best, and their defense.
Where's DJ Reed now?
The defensive line is really good. I want to say, I don't think it was Denver. No, he went to Detroit. He went to Detroit.
Right.
Yeah, you miss DJ Reed now as your second corner, man.
Yes.
You see what the difference is when that guy is your second corner as opposed to this guy Stevens. And yeah, the Jets, they got to figure it out. And hopefully, I'm not expecting this team to win a ton of games. After week one, we're thinking, hey, could we win 9 or 10 games? Could we make it to the playoffs? Are we good?
Nick, I'd still bet the over. But I think it's going to be 6 or 7 wins. I mean, there it is, man. I mean,
Yeah, but 6 or 7 can look a lot of different ways. And just like Aaron Glenn talked about, it's about, putting a team out there that this Jets fan base can be proud of. And, I'm just hoping that we figure it out sooner rather than later, for sure. I got one question for you on the Knicks. Would you be willing to trade Kolek or Dadier to keep one of Brogdon, Shamet, or Matthews?
Oh, Kolek, yes. Get him out.
Out of here. Get him out.
Get him
Yeah,
out.
man. I would trade him in a
Dadier, I want to
heartbeat.
keep. Yeah. Kolek's on the first thing smoking. Come on.
I want to keep
He's
Dadier.
on the northeaster on the northeastern line in Amtrak. Put him over there.
What I like about it is going into this training camp, you have guys like, and hey, we have to go ahead and we have to throw Deuce McBride into this conversation as well as guys who like, hey man, if the beginning of camp isn't going well and these other guys are outshining you, you could be traded or eventually cut. Deuce isn't going to get cut, but I saw Stephen Bondi talking about it the other day on with CP the Franchise on Knicks Fans TV, and he was talking about the fact that like Deuce, it's even if you start to see that, hey, Brogdon or Dadier or this guy Matthews, if you see two of those guys like, and you start feeling like you want both of them to make the team, you look around, and the thing about Deuce is he's such a tradable asset where not only do you trade Deuce to be able to free up a roster spot, but you get back some of the draft capital that you've lost in the Bridges and the Karl Anthony Towns trades. Obviously, I want to keep Deuce. I think he still has real, impact potential on this team. But I would get rid of Kolek in a heartbeat. Dadier is my guy. I think he's going to be a star someday, so don't give up him. But I'm telling you, Dad, out of this name, everybody wants to talk about Shamet and everybody wants to talk about Brogdon. This guy Matthews intrigues me, man. Matthews is a legitimate 6'5" guy who shoots 40% from three and plays a little bit defense. Garrison.
I'm sorry, Matthews. Nick. I needed to study up for the show. Who is this guy? Garrison Matthews.
Come on, man. We traded. We signed him in between signing Shamet and Brogdon. He played, I think, most recently for the I want to say
Bologna.
He played for Atlanta last year. He's 28 years old. Like I said, he's a legit 6'5". Last year, he shot 39.7% from three, 7.5 points, 1.9 rebounds, 1.3 assists. And I mean, I went and I watched like some of his highlights. He's one of these guys who he's got a quick release. Like he's like a Mike Miller type. You know what I'm saying? Where he's got a quick
Had you
release.
heard of him before we signed him?
Yeah, sure. I know of Garrison Matthews, for sure.
Garrison Matthews. I'm not familiar with that name. I don't know.
Yo, man.
They signed that one guy, Matt Bryant, is it? Am I calling the right name? Tall, white dude who can shoot.
Bryant. Yeah. We've had him before on the team.
Yeah, no, I don't think
he's not making the team. Zero chance. He might get some sort of two-way or play in Westchester, but there's zero chance he makes the team.
And people have screamed, "Oh, they cut Dink Pate or Pate." But no, they just did that so they could send him to the G League, right?
Yeah, he's on a two-way deal. Yeah, he's on like a two-way deal. Where I think that he's gonna play down in Westchester for most of the year, and hopefully he doesn't play with the big club because that would mean that we have some serious injuries. But listen, man, I think that the fact that you have these veterans willing to take non-guaranteed deals for a chance to make the team. If you're a Knicks fan for long enough, you know that there was a time where things like this just didn't happen to us.
No. This is a good thing. This is a very good thing.
Absolutely. I got a question for you outside of Knicks, Mets, and Jets, because I think it's an interesting topic. Arch Manning, do you think that there is too much hype or too much scrutiny on this kid?
I mean, listen, coming into the season, there was too much hype. He hadn't even played yet, really. He hadn't played any games. I think the first game, he had a tough game. I mean, kids are going to have tough games, and especially young people like that, especially against the best team maybe in the country in Ohio State. So I think there was too much hype on him initially, and, talking about him coming out after this year and all that. Let the kid play. We don't even know if he has the ability or anything to come out after this year. And the thing is, everyone I'd have to go with too much hype. Because everybody has anointed this guy as if he's going to be great simply because of his pedigree. That's ridiculous, as we know. I mean, that has a little bit of something to do with things, but at the end of the day, not too much. I mean, it does have a good amount. Listen, the guy's got talent, Nick, but there've been a lot of guys a lot of these people have sons that aren't big time players. Where are all these? But then some of them do.
But that's changing though. As like we're now seeing where
Where's Peyton Manning and what's his name? Eli Manning's son.
they're young.
Are they that small? Okay.
Yeah, this is their brother's son who's just now in college.
I know. This is
Right.
Cooper's
So
son.
yeah, and he's the and he's the oldest brother. So obviously their kids are much younger than him.
Right.
And so listen, personally, first of all, I do think that pedigree is a massive factor. I think when it comes to first and foremost just your physical genes, not everybody's going to be 6'5". So I think that that's huge right there. And I also think that we know, even when it comes to, you with me and me with my son, the fact that we know the game and are willing to put in the work to teach
that's
our
huge.
kids and
That's
do
huge.
those things and give them tools when they're young. Shout to Dribble Up. Y'all need to go ahead and sponsor the show. But give them some tools when they're young.
Maybe next show you have Natty doing Dribble Up in the background while you're.
No, we're not going to do that. But I will talk about the fact that he's quite the baller and probably the best 9-year-old in this town. And one of the reasons is because we gave him Dribble Up when he was young, and he's been able to work on his handle. But anyway, yeah, man. Listen, when it comes down to it, I think that is a huge factor, and that's why we see so many legacies, and we're going to see even more, I think, as time goes on. Because if you look at it, I mean, it seems like so many of these kids. I remember being a kid.
What happened to Michael Jordan's son?
Okay, that's a generation behind. I'm talking about
He sucked
Carlos
even at
Booth.
football.
Listen, he was a college basketball player. He played Division
No,
I
no,
college
no.
basketball.
College football player, I think.
No, Michael Jordan's son played at University of Illinois.
I mean, what am
know
I
that
thinking
for-
about?
I don't know who you're talking about. But
Walter
Jordan's
Payton's son, maybe.
Who knows? Just say some random athletes. But listen, at the end of the day, you got your guy now where it seems like, okay, there's the Michael Jordan sons of the world who go and they play. Yo, now you from the Boozers to the Mellows to all these people's sons. And I remember when I was a kid and I was watching basketball with you and you being like, you see more of these guys' kids play in the league back then. But back then there was like the Berries, and you had the Berries who their sons were in the league. Now, Dad, there's so many people in the league whose dad, I mean, the Kenyon Martin Juniors to everybody. Oh, yo, man, these guys, when they grow up with that type of environment around them, with a dad who knows what time it is, and a dad who physically can pass on the genetics to them, I think that's a huge factor. Now, specifically when it comes to Arch Manning. It's kind of a cop-out, but I do think it's a little bit of both when it comes to the scrutiny and the hype. He is getting more scrutiny and more hype because of his name, and that is what it's going to be. What I think we're seeing, though, is that Texas is not as good as a lot of people expected them to be. And
they lost a lot of people after last year.
They lost a lot of people talking about them being one of the better teams in the nation. And I think that Arch Manning is going to go through some growing pains. He's smart, and he'll probably stay another year, even if he is projected towards the top of the draft. And I think by this time next year, he'll look very polished and he'll look very good, and everybody will be talking about him being the first or the second pick. So I do think it's probably a little bit too much scrutiny that's been put on this kid just because everybody expected him to be a Manning and step in. I mean, they're the royal family of football. I mean, and we've never seen. Well, you have people like you have families like the Longs, where they've put a lot of guys in the NFL through their family, their extended family. But the Matthews, that's another one right there. Yeah, bunch of them in there too as well. But for these guys to have, a great quarterback who never played on good teams, and then he has two sons. Both of them get in. One is a surefire, first ballot Hall of Famer, all timer, and the other guy is a guy who is borderline Hall of Famer with a couple Super Bowl rings. And
MVPs.
Super Bowl rings and Super Bowl MVPs. And so the hype is definitely going to be there for this kid, and really. He's put in a position where unless he not just gets to the NFL, but is like a legitimate starter in the NFL, it's a disappointment, which is a tough thing to put on a kid. But to me, just his overall demeanor and the way he handles things, I think he's going to be all right.
Yeah, I think so too, Nick. I mean, I think he's got the goods, but just give him time. Everybody, so quick, the just immediate hot take. He's got to be great now. Calm down. Hey, one thing I want to show you before we sign off. One thing.
Okay. The big guy's got props. This better be good. This better be
What?
good.
Yeah, it's very good. I got this when I went to New York. An old picture from about 30 plus years ago. Me and can you see
Hold
it?
up higher. There you go.
Me and
You
Clyde
and
Frazier at the
Walt.
exchange.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? That's what
That
I'm
was
talking
Saul's
about.
picture, right? That was
That
Saul's
was
picture. That
Saul's
was his room.
picture. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's my dad's picture, and my sister-in-law got it back to me when I was in New York. So I have that here at the house now.
Very
Good
cool.
stuff.
Moving and grooving.
Moving and grooving, exactly, brother. I told you it'd be worth it.
All right. Last but not least, last year you showed over a long period of time a sustained excellence, an excellence that got you paid if you paid attention and you rode along on the train. This is a little segment that we like to call the Big Guy Locks. This is 2 weeks in a row you struggled with the lock a little bit.
I'm struggling with the camera and the lock. Yes, you're right. All right.
2 weeks in a row
All right.
with the lock. But all right, last week you went 2-1.
One.
So
Good start.
in week 1, week 2, your boy had some dental surgery, so we had to take a little bit of a break. I didn't think you guys wanted to see my bloody mouth. So now we're in week 3. You're 2-1, and hey, 2-1. We like those types of odds. You keep going 2-1, you'll have a great record. And now we have week 3, NFL season, Big Guy Locks, 3 teams against the spread. What do you got?
Okay, so believe it or not, I picked Buffalo and the little King of the Hill. I'm laying the points tonight, Nick. I think they're going to roll all over them. Big spread, 11.5. They're going to smash Miami. Miami's going to be hopefully reeling going into the game against the Jets next week. Although they have a long time off, but they play the Jets after, what do we play them? I think we played them on Monday night next week.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm laying the points with Buffalo.
Bills minus 12.5. It was just before the game.
It's 12.5. I thought
just
it was
before the game.
See, what is ESPN messing me up like this? Anyway, okay, I don't care. I'm all in. Okay. On the flying Allens, on the flying Joshes. Next, listen, man. I told you for a long time that this guy's a decent quarterback, and I think he's showing me to be true now. If things are good around him, he can throw, he can run. I'm going with the Daniel Joneses and Indiana laying 3. I had laying 3.5 at Tennessee. I like what they're doing there. I like Daniel Jones. I think he's a steady quarterback who can win you games. Okay?
Colts minus 4.5, according to DraftKings.
Jesus, man. All right. Colts minus 4.5. They're gonna win by at least a touchdown. And next, I'm going with your boy, Sammy D. Seattle minus. I got minus 7.5 versus New Orleans. Okay, New Orleans is a dumpster fire. Sammy D is having a good start to the year. Seattle's got a decent team. I think they can make some noise right there.
All right, so we got Bills minus 12.5, Colts minus 4.5, and Seahawks minus 7.5.
Okay, that works for me. I'm not scared.
All right, so that's this week's Big Guy Locks. Hey, man, I don't make the picks. I just ride with the picks and make the money. Okay,
that's right. Get paid.
All right. But, yeah, man, it's going to be an interesting game tonight with the Bills and the Dolphins. You got Mike McDaniels fighting for his life and for his job. Many people talking about him possibly getting fired. I think he's a good coach, man. I think that team's gotten away from him a little bit, but I do think he's a pretty good coach. You just don't like him because of, the shades he wears and probably because he's so young.
Shades. No, I dislike the man because he's young.
Yeah, you don't.
Young people.
You just think he's too much of a whippersnapper.
Well, he's kind of
hasn't paid his dues.
He's kind of flighty. He's not. He doesn't inspire me as a football coach.
Flighty. How's he flighty?
If I was playing football for this guy, I'd feel like you could slap him around. He's just not.
Exactly. See, you don't.
He's not the guy.
I knew this is.
He doesn't seem like a leader of men. I'm sorry, Nick, but. What? Do you need the same guy to run your hair salon as you need to run your football team?
See, no. I knew it came back to his overall appearance with you. That's why you don't like this guy.
He could have that appearance and still come out, a little bit more with the strong arm tactic. But he seems like he's more interested in in some pudding.
In some pudding.
You're going back. Hey, let's go have some pudding.
You think the guy likes pudding? Damn, why you got?
He just looks like he likes pudding. What can I say?
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, I absolutely was dead on with my assessment of why you don't like him. But
Why? Because I think he's soft.
you just don't like his I just know I could
I don't like his act.
his appearance overall and so I could
Yeah.
just tell that he's just
If he
not
had
going to
that
be your kind of
appearance,
guy.
Nick, but came with the right aura, which is something I was explaining to your son the other day. If he came with the right aura, it wouldn't matter, and it would be fine, because he would be a tough guy. Listen, there have been tough guys that have that little bit of a softer exterior look,
You just said
but
I don't need the
he's not
same
the
guy
guy.
running my hair salon that I need running my football team.
Well, he looks like he could be the front man for the what is it, sports cuts.
Catch us every week on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast. Please follow, like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification button on all platforms. Really appreciate all the love. You can find us on all socials at Independent Nick. That's Independent N.I.C. Love you, big guy.
Love you, kid.